So this is going to be a little different video for you because it's an announcement that I'm going to be pausing these videos for a while, as well as the blog posts for a while. I've done this before. This is probably I think this is video like number 105 or something like that I've done over the last couple of years. And then I've been writing blog posts for, well, many years. That was the first media that I came to you through. Then I paused those for a while, and then I brought those back. But I'm going to be pausing them for a while. I will still be doing the Great Quotes for Coaches podcast. But the reason is I have a variety of projects that I'm working on right now that I just need to devote my time to. The first one is, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before in the video, I think I have, but I was hired to be the boys' head basketball coach here in my hometown. And so I will be devoting a whole lot of time to that. And those of you who coach, which is most of you know, how much time that will take up. Those of you who are head coaches really know that. And so I'm gonna be devoting a lot more time to that. I've got my Slam Dunk Significance program that I unveiled a couple months ago that I want to now take the time to really dive into. Like I said all along, it's just in its infancy, and I just put up a GoFundMe page, and that was it, and an announcement about it, and that was it. Well, now it's time to start really working on it and starting to build it. And then I have not been writing like my books in quite a while. And so I want to start devoting some time back to writing. I also write an article for the newspaper in my town. I started doing that recently. So obviously that'll take up some writing time. And so it's a couple times a month, but still it takes up time. So I've got these and I'm going to turn some of my books, well, eventually, hopefully all my books, into audiobooks. Well, I've been learning how to do that. And so I want to devote time to these various projects that I have in the hopper, so to speak, over this fall and winter. And so I'm going to pause these videos. I'm going to pause the blog posts. I will still do the Great Quotes for Coaches podcast each week. That comes out on Mondays. So make sure you go to there. If you have not been a person listening to that podcast, please go there and listen to the podcast. Please rate it and review it. That really helps podcast episodes get viewed by more people. Also, all of these videos really have had as their catalyst the podcast episode. I do the podcast episode. I usually record it on the weekend, and it comes out on Monday. That also, I'm going to say, sets the theme, but really I set the theme for the week, and then I do quotes based on that theme. But there's a lot of times where it works in reverse. I find this great quote, and it's like, oh, that's the theme that I want to work on for whatever week, right? For instance, I'm going to be starting a series next week that I mentioned in the podcast this past Monday. I'm going to be starting a new series. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Come to the podcast because you're going to want to hear this one, especially you coaches and you teachers. And so I'm going to start a new theme or a new series that will have a general overarching theme for the series. And then each week there's a specific concept that I'll be talking about. So anyway, I will only be doing that in the podcasts. And then I will probably be sending out the newsletters though each week. I don't know if I'll send them out on Saturday like I have been, or if I'll just send them out on Monday with the podcast, at the same day that the podcast comes out. That's probably what I'll do. And the newsletter will be a reminder, as it has always been over these last couple of years. It was always a reminder about the podcast episode, the video, and the blog post. Well, now it'll be a reminder about the podcast episode. I think that's what I'm going to do. I still might have, a couple ideas that I'll toss in and I'll talk about. And of course, I'll send out newsletters, the newsletter to you whenever I have some announcement or a new book coming out, let's say, or something about Slam Dunk Significance, whatever it might be. And I will occasionally do videos like this and do blog posts because I like doing them. But I just don't want to have to be constrained. That sounds way too negative probably, but I don't want to have to be on a specific timeline of, oh, I've got to get the video out. Oh, I've got to write this blog post, when I know I'm going to have so many other things that I'll be focusing on. So anyway, last of the regular, editions of the videos, but the videos will still be up that I've done through the years, and I will still bring videos to you at times, and I will still bring blog posts to you at times as well. But for now, get to the Great Quotes for Coaches podcast every Monday morning. It's on all of the podcast providers, but get to that, and that's where you'll be able to continue hearing the messages that I've been trying to bring to you now for the last many years, let's say. All right. And until the next time, until I come back to you with a video, see you over on the podcast.